Alright folks, it's Sunday outside Perro, Salado. We had the heavenly sticky ribs with a side of guac. We did coffee, water, blood orange, agua fresca. And we're aiming for the Charles Poliquin diet. Right? It's a local fruit, a variety of nuts. Right? You're varying the nuts to avoid sensitivities, a piece of meat, so it could be chicken, steak, beef, fish, plant protein, and then a healthy fat, right? Maybe some avocado, guacamole, olive oil, sour cream, something like that. Well, maybe not sour cream, but whatever. The idea is, that's what you're aiming for. So we got 3 out of the 4. No, we got 2 out of the 4. And you want to, if you want to encourage great digestion, you want to eat the meal from most liquid to most solid. Right, so there's a logical progression, right? If you've ever had the experience where you eat a lot and then you drink a lot of water after, you kind of, you get a stomach ache, which is not good, especially if you want to train effectively and you want to be relaxed. It's hard to stay focused if you got the runs or you got a stomach ache, right? So what are we thinking about? We're thinking about sun protection. We're thinking about staying relaxed, and we're going to answer one question. The question is from Hickam, 426. You live in a little town in the UK where the pitch is always muddy because it rains a lot, and the place where there is good grass, it costs 40 pounds or 30 pounds to play. Right? So the question is, where can I play? Where can I play and train? And I think the solution I've been thinking about is this idea of making everywhere you go a soccer camp. Can you make everywhere you play? Can you turn anywhere you are to somewhere where you can play? And I think that's possible with a few tools. I have a hacky sack, a tennis ball, and a size 1 ball. Right. So why these balls are important is because if you can bring a ball with you everywhere you go, then you could get more touches, juggling, dribbling, playing, working on the fundamentals. So I think question 1 is, can I bring a ball with me everywhere I go? Right. So this is a right. So we're trying to take this idea of soccer camp and we're trying to make it perpetual. So it's like, can you aim for a great meal? And then can you do some fundamental things that are going to help you elevate your game? So I want to try and demonstrate that with some. This is a simple formula that you can use anywhere you are, not just in your small town in the UK. Lynn, I think you said it was called. So I think the place that we're going to start is that most soccer coaches won't tell you that the most important skill is learning how to breathe effectively. So you take this test. If you take a deep breath and your shoulders go up into the air, right? If your shoulders go, then what you want to do is search this video called Dr. Vranich, How to Breathe. And the reason why it's important is because it's going to effortlessly improve your stamina and endurance. It's going to help you stay calmer, more relaxed in high pressure situations on and off the field. It's going to massage your internal organs, which is going to help with your digestion. It's going to take pressure off your spinal column. So for all these reasons, if there's only one thing you could take away from this video, this would be it. Right? It looks like this. Right? All it is breathing with your belly. You just go here. Simple. But when you search that video, she's going to tell you the science behind it. Right, she's going to talk about the rule of 3. The rule of 3 is 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 weeks without food or water. Give or take, you'd be dead. Right? That's why 3 minutes without air, breathing is the most important skill that you can learn. So that'd be a great place to start. The second place is movement. Right, and we're going to get to juggling in a second. If you can get your hands on a jump rope, or you could get your hands on a piece of rope, as long as you are tall, then what you can do is you can make what's called an RMT rope. And after training, right after playing soccer for 27 years, this is what I wish I knew 27 years ago, and that is that my ability to understand where my body is in time and space would make me more effective as a soccer player, right? Because if I could be more efficient with my movement, that means I could use less energy and get to places faster than my opponents and prevent injuries, right? Be more explosive and be just more nimble, right? Smooth. You want to be in control of your body at all times. And so a lot of players, they spend way too much time at the gym doing the wrong things. They're either spending too much time running on a treadmill or an elliptical, or they're doing bodybuilder exercises, right? 6x6 sets of bench press, rows, overhead press, right? Shoulder presses, and then either they're doing deadlifts or they're doing squats. And I think, right, if the question is Hickam 426, if the question is where can I play at, where can I train at with this rope, now you become infinite, right? You make the world your playground, right? Just with some simple tools that you could fit in your pocket. That's why it's RMT rope by David Weck, W-E-C-K, is a tool that if you keep in your arsenal, it's going to help you become more dangerous, right? So it's breathing. Can I master that breathing skill? Dr. Vranich, V-R-A-N-I-C-H. Question 2 is, can I make or invest in an RMT rope? You could find one online for maybe get one for less than $25, or just, go to your local hardware store. You could tie 2 shoelaces together. You could cut a towel in half long ways. You can use an old extension cord. I've used an iPhone charging cord. So there's a lot of, it's not about the rope, it's about the movement that the rope or the tool helps you learn, right? It's your nervous system understanding. It's a teacher, right? It connects. It helps your body. Right, the body's connected from fingers to toes. So as you swing it with your hands, it just helps your body. Right, you get into harmony. You get into a nice rhythm. So if you could only right, take away the second thing from this video, this would be it, right? Because soccer players are humans first, soccer players second. So right, you could start to get into your some nice skips. Floyd Mayweather likes to go underneath the leg. You could go high, get the full range of motion going in the shoulders, behind the backs, relieves tension in the back. You could get low, right? Even if you're in a wheelchair, you could be swinging it overhead, and which is going to help, right? Just bend and twist your spine. And I gave this rope to a nice lady in town who I've known for a couple years, and she told me she broke her ribs. So I gave her this rope, and maybe a week later, she came and she said, "Andrew, I swear the rope helped me with my rehab." So it's so versatile and it's so powerful, and it's hyper portable, which means it's super effective because you could raise your volume you could raise your training volume in a low impact way, which means you're going to get more reps, and more reps means just your work capacity is going to go through the roof. Okay, so that's there, right? Can I breathe? Can I move effectively? And then it's can I bring a ball with me, right? So for juggling inspiration, someone who I wish I would have known about earlier in my life in terms of improving my juggling is on Instagram. It's _ty.fitness_. What you're going to notice from his videos is that he rotates the size of the balls that he juggles. He's very relaxed when he's juggling. He has rhythmic patterns. Most jugglers online who are great jugglers, you'll see a lot of freestyling tricks, right? And these are nice to know, but in game scenarios, you want to be effective, so you don't want to sacrifice looks, right? You don't want to sacrifice aesthetics for functionality. So if you can't connect passes, if you can't finish on goal, if you can't take the ball out of the air swiftly, doesn't matter if you could do a nice look and flick up to impress someone. It's about the fundamentals and being effective with the stuff, right? You want your training to elevate your play, and if it doesn't, then you're moving in the wrong direction. So let's start with some right? So it doesn't matter what ball you have. If you have a basketball, you want to basketball, American football, volleyball, you have to start to take stock of everything you have in your own home. And there's probably some balls in your house that you're not using that you could use, that if you did start using, it would really improve your game, because smaller, lighter balls will improve your precision, larger, heavier balls will improve your power. So a lot of times when most players get started juggling, they use their feet, but I realized that a technique that really helped me become a great juggler from a young age was keeping the ball up with my thighs first, and if it popped down to the ground or if it popped down to feet, I would just pop it back up to my thighs. So just getting into a nice rhythm, staying relaxed, and then you could start to get into twos. This is my new favorite pattern, right? It's two left, two right. And I think it mimics your running technique to a degree, right? Because when you run, you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then when the ball drops on the ground, a lot of players, ball drops on the ground, they get frustrated. You want to use the ground as your training partner. Ball hits the ground, pop it up. Ball hits the ground, pop it up. And then get back into it. Drops down, pop it back up. Right, nice and easy. Some players, you see them post online, I can't do 10 juggles, I can't do 20 juggles. I can't do 100 juggles, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with that. Right, because 2 sets of 50, that's 100. 4 sets of 25, right, you get the idea? So you want to be, it's like the master has failed more times than the beginner has tried, just by increasing your volume. Right? Once, I think the beginner goes to the intermediate player when they stop counting, when they stop focusing on the quantity of their juggles instead of being very relaxed, breathing, and then having fun with it. Rotating between different size balls is key. This is something I didn't take advantage of as a younger player who spent hours and hours and hours juggling. I didn't rotate. I wish someone would have told me, Andrew, you could be more effective with less time if you rotated the size balls, because you'll notice immediately that it just changes the way, right, it feels when it leaves your body. So rotating the different size balls, there's a quote that goes, make skills easy, make strength hard. You got to make it easy for yourself to succeed, right? You want to challenge yourself, but if right, there are players who, they'll say things like, if I train for 3 hours a day, will I go pro? Yet they won't bring a ball with them everywhere they go and get 60 seconds a day to build a habit. Consistency beats intensity in the long run, because they're always going to be improving. There's a story of two teams on two separate expeditions. They were trying to beat each other to see who the first person was to get to the North Pole or something. And the story goes that one team, they would, when it was sunny, they would go as far as they could, and then when it was rainy, they would stop and they would bunker down. And then the other team, every day they committed themselves, we're going to do 5 miles rain or shine. And the team who only trained, who only went out on their expedition when it was sunny, they didn't even make it. The team who did committed to 5 miles a day, they made it in, I think they were either the first team to make it, or they made it there in record time. And even on the last day, when they could have done it in 7 miles, they could have finished their journey. They only had 2 more miles to go, but they stayed with their tempo, right? They stayed with their routine. They had a plan for success, which is, we're going to commit ourselves to this bout of accomplishable, right? They did 5 miles every day. So even on the last day, they didn't deviate from their plan, which is a little bit of effort every day in the right direction. So even if you have 60 seconds a day, 16 days straight builds a habit, which will allow you to grow over time, get more touches, make more mistakes, have more fun, right? So So let's get into the hacky sack right now. So you'll see even it just feels a little bit different, and feeling that little bit of difference is the difference maker when you get to the game, because it's just going to help you develop awareness on the field, right? So even if you start to get to practice, if you start playing for a club team, you're practice 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early, right? Half an hour early. It's going to be the difference between the players who grow and the players who won't make it. Okay, so you have, right, so you've got some ideas for juggling. Now let's talk about dribbling sequences. Dribbling sequences are super effective because they're rhythmic patterns. This is a rhythmic pattern right here. There we go. This is Fanta Sista Mickey. Fanta Sista Mickey sequences. Step, step.
Come, amigo.
Buenas.
Amigo.
Fanta Sista Mickey sequences is step, step behind the back, step, step behind the back, step, step behind the back, step, step behind the back. And why this is effective is because it allows you to pivot effortlessly once you master the sequence, right? So you can come here, then here, right? So it's a nice, it's this turn that it's this turn which will only happen once you master it, right? So it's nice and easy, step, 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 nice and easy, and then behind the back, right? Then get into a nice rhythm, relaxed, breathing. And then you can start to stutter step, right? You can go step, step, so step, step here, step, step here, step, step here, step, step here, step, step here. Or you could try to maybe speed up the tempo a little bit, right? Just having fun with it. You could start to pivot on the ball, right? So this simple sequence has so many variations that you can play with, but you'll only discover them once you commit yourself to looking foolish, right? There's a quote that goes, it's like the Joker is king because he who is willing to look foolish in front of themselves or the crowd will always, right? It's that willingness to look silly, which reveals things to yourself, right? It reveals where you're lacking in certain areas, and it reveals opportunities for improvement. So, right, a lot of people have got fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking silly. You know, everyone's got things they're scared of, afraid of, nervous about, anxious. So you gotta walk towards that, right? You gotta attack that fear with a vengeance. So learning that, right, this is a sequence that I would have loved. I would have ate this sequence up. I wish I would have known this earlier in my life. So this is the one that I've been thinking about a lot. Right, so what do we have? We learned, so again, let's think about the questions. Number 1, can I learn how to breathe effectively? Dr. Branich. Number 2, can I make an RMT rope? David Weck. Can I bring a ball with me everywhere I go? And then can I learn that Fanta Sista Mickey dribbling sequence? Right, and with these simple tools, you could turn anywhere you are into a soccer camp, especially in Lynn, in the United Kingdom, with those grassy, wet fields, or muddy, wet fields, and overpriced Lando. And when you got no money to play on that nice field, this, right, doesn't matter if it's a parking lot, the beach, in the kitchen, picnic, barbecue, vacation, you could bring this anywhere you go, everywhere you go. So reach out with any questions. 508-505-1180. All right, thank you.